Now, so continuing dataset options, today we'll discuss the other leftover dataset options. Okay, like point, TOF, first dot, last dot. These dataset options we discuss. Uh, so first we'll go with the point option. Everyone remember first OBS and OBS dataset option? So by using that first OBS and OBS, what we can do in combination, we can whatever observation, specific range of observations that we want to copy into the resultant data set, we can copy, right, by using first OBS and OBS. Now here, by using the point option, whatever observations that you want to copy, that too in what order you want to copy, you can copy by using this point option. Say like for suppose I want to copy the observations from SAS help.class into the resultant dataset that which I create. I want to copy in the same order. I want to copy the observations. First, I want to copy second observation, then fifth observation, then third observation, 19th observation, fourth observation, eighth observation, and then first observation. I want to copy in the same order. Okay. Then you can make use of the point option. Data test set SAS help dot class. Okay, and run. Since here I want to copy only those observations that in same order, right here point equal to, just give list all these options. Okay. List all these observations. This is nothing but the observation number. But unfortunately, we can't write any constant number in the point option. Okay. So because of that, what you do is create a temporary variable. You can give any variable name. Okay. Create a temporary variable equal to, give that list here. Okay. And here what you do is write point equal to x. Okay. Now, if you here observe one thing, it has to do the same point option for all these observations, right? As in, it has to repeat the same statement for multiple times, correct? And you can define that by making use of the do loop, because you have to run the same statement, right? First, you have to do it for second observation, like it has to, from SAS help.class, it has to read the second observation and then it has to send to output dataset. Similarly, again, it has to read the fifth observation and then send to the output dataset. So it has to repeat the same statement for multiple times. You can define that by using this do statement. Whenever you use the do block, make sure you are ending the do block with end statement. Okay, so do and end. Now tell me here one thing. Into the same temporary variable, you are reading all these observations, right? Remember the output method? Into the same variable, if you are reading one value after the other value, then the previous value gets replaced with the next value.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So in order to avoid that replacement, you have to make use of the output statement. Okay. Right here, output. Okay. So after output, here first it is reading second observation from the source data. Then it is reading fifth observation. Again it has to read third observation. So it is reading the observations randomly, right? Like jumping from first to last and from last to first. It is like doing jumbling. So you have to tell to SAS like where to stop. Correct? So after reading the first observation, it has to stop reading the data from source dataset, right? Further, it should not read by default. So generally, what is the default nature? It will read one observation after the other observation. Okay. So, but here that is not the case. No, once it reaches this last value, it has to stop reading the data from source dataset. And you can define that by saying stop option. Okay. Write stop option here. Okay. This is how your point option works. Now execute, check log. Okay. Work.test has one observation and 5 variables. No, you should have these many number of observations, no? Check here.
Since we are giving x equal to all the values in the same line, would it be printing only the last one?
No, it is reading only the first one.
I think it's the last one, right? First one. But
Okay, I'm sorry. So when it has to stop the process, once it reads the last value, right?
yes.
So once it has done doing this point option for all these observations, then it has to stop. So I have to write the stop statement after the do block ends, right? Okay, like in the end we have to tell, like once it reaches the last value, then stop the process. So you have to write the stop option here. Okay, now we execute. Now open. See? Okay. So in the same order it will copy. If you observe here, in class dataset, your name variable will be in ascending order of the alphabets. Okay. If you observe first the name starting with A and then B, then C. But if you see here, see, that is not the case, which means it is copying the observations in the specified order. Okay. If you want, you can go to the source dataset and you can check. Class. Okay. See, first you have given 2, so it is copying Alice. Okay. And what is the next observation you asked? Fifth observation. So it will copy fifth observation Henry. See? And what is the next observation you asked? To copy third observation. And what is the third observation? Barbara.
Then you put the data flat, then you put 2,
right?
Then you put x is equal to.
Ashok, any question?
Yeah, Pavani, the thing is like in the same line it is reading x equal to all the values, right? So how is it differentiating to like all the values like x equal to 2, the same line x equal to 5, we are assigning all the values to the same line, right?
Now the next option is retain and sum, I think. EOF option. Okay. Coming to this EOF option, suppose say that if you want to, once you reach to the end of the file, okay, like once it reads the complete data file, data set, if you want to know like how many observations it has read, the count of the observations, or for the last observation, what are the data values that it has read. Okay. If you want to know this kind of information, then you can make use of EOF option. See, data. Since here you want to know the information, right? For this purpose, we no need to create a data set. Okay, we can save our system memory as in like optimizing the resources. So write here as underscore null underscore. Okay. Now, so what this underscore null underscore will do is without creating the SAS dataset, it will execute the program and it will display the information, whatever information you want, it will display that information in the log window. Okay. Now data underscore null set SAS help dot class. Okay.
Class.
Now here I want to know when it reaches end of the file, I want to display all this information like how many observations it has read, and also I want to display the information like for name and age variable, what are the last data values for that last observation, what are the data values it has read for name and age variable. So in this case, right, make use of EOS option. If, okay, if end of the file, if EOF, okay, if end of the file, then just a moment. Say like if end of the file, then do. So what values here we want to display? Put. Okay, put is the function. If you want to display any information in the log window, then you have to make use of the put statement. Put. So underscore n underscore equal to. That is the option that we use in order to display the count of observations. Okay, n is nothing but count of observations. Underscore n underscore, and we also want to display the name for last observation, what is the name value that it has read, and also the age value what it has read. Okay, and end your program with run statement. Also end your do block with end statement. Okay, so this do block I am ending with end statement and program with run statement. Now here in your set statement you have to define, so once it reaches end of the file, you are using the EOF option, right? So right here end equal to EOF. Okay. Now you execute the, close the data. Now you execute the program. Check. See here, how many observations? 19 observations it has read. So like this, we'll know the count of the observations. Okay. Either by opening the data set and by scrolling down till the end, you can know like what is the observation count, or simply through programming like this also, you can know what is the observation count. And then name equal to, and for name variable and age variable, this is the last observation data values that it has set. Okay. Not only for these variables, for whatever variables you want to know, you can list all that variables here. Okay. Clear with EOF option?
Yep.
Right. Now the next one is, I think retain and sum. Yeah. Coming to this retain and sum. First, let us create this data set. Okay. Data test input with variable X and data lines. I use either data lines or cards. You can make use of any statement, right? So here I have given the X values as 1, 2 and 3. Now I want to create a new variable called Y with values, cumulative values of X. Okay. So as in, for first value, it will be the first value. For second value, when you are calculating the second value of Y, it will be the second value of X plus previous values of Y. Okay. So which is equal to 2 plus 1. So here also same. Cumulative values are nothing but present value plus previous values. Okay. 3 plus 2 plus 1. Okay. Present value plus previous value sum of. Now, which is nothing but indirectly I can say as present value of X plus previous value of Y. Similarly, here also same, right? Present value of X plus this is nothing but the previous value of Y, either previous values of X or just the previous value of Y, we can say, right? Did you get this concept?
Yep.
So in this case, what is our logic? When you have to calculate the present value of Y, you should also have the previous value of Y in its memory area, right? Like SAS has to store the previous value of Y also in some of its memory area in order to create the next value of Y, correct? So now you look at the execution of the program. Input X. And here we have the data values, right? So when it reads the input statement, it will read the variable X and it will store. And into that, it will read, when it reads the first line in the card statement, it will assign that particular value to X variable. Now, when it again reads, when it again has to read the second line in the card statement, again it will be reading the input statement, okay? And it will reset the value of Y. Resetting the value of Y is nothing but bringing to the default state, like nothing in value except that variable X, there will be no value in that variable X, okay? Like bringing to the resetting the value, as in bringing to the normal default state, okay? So that's what happens even with Y also. When you have like two variables here, then what happens? In order to assign the first value, it will read the input statement. Again, in order to read the second value, again it will read the input statement. So by that time, whatever variables that you have in that input statement, or else like by the time whatever variables that it has, all that variable values will be resetted. Okay. So here, in order to do this kind of calculations, the value should not be resetted, right? The previous value of Y, it has to hold in its memory in order to create the next value of Y. Okay. So holding is nothing but kind of retaining. Like it has to retain the previous value of Y in order to generate the next value of Y. So how we will be retaining that value means by making use of the retain statement. Okay. Are you clear with the retain statement?
Yes.
Okay. So generally it will be, when it has to assign the new values to the variables, it will be resetting the value. Okay. Like in order to assign the next value, the variable values will be resetted. Okay. It will not carry the previous values. Automatically it will be resetted. But if you want to carry the previous values, like if it has to hold the previous value in order to create the next value, it has to hold in its summary, some of its memory area, holding as in retaining. And you achieve that retaining by making use of this retain statement. Okay. See here, data, test, set, test. suppose say like y equal to, if you write here sum of x comma y, okay, and write here run. Print in the output window, print data equal to test, okay, and run. So here you are not retaining the value of y, right? Now we execute this program and see the output. The value will be same as like x. See, because it is not it is not holding the previous value of y. See here, this 2 plus 1 is nothing but the previous value of y, right? It is not holding the previous value. It is just resetting. So obviously there will be nothing here. So here it will be x equal to, you have given sum of x comma y. Since there will be no value for y equal to sum of x, which is nothing but 1. Now again, for second value also, y will be sum of x comma y. Since all the values will be resetted, the x value only will be the y value. Okay. But if you want to retain, make use of retain statement. Retain y. Which value you want to retain? Y value. So retain y. Now execute. Now you see the result. Now we are getting the cumulative. So you got the difference between without retaining and with retaining. Hello? Hello?
Can you show one more time?
Huh?
Yes, yes.
Yes, right? Okay. Now the next one is after retain and sum, first dot and last dot. Coming to this first dot and last dot,
Sorry.
here we have ID.
So
So what this first dot and last dot will do is, suppose say that by any variable, okay, by any variable, if you want to filter for the first observation or for the last observation, you can filter by using this first dot and last dot, okay. See here. Suppose here IDC, we have for the same ID, we have different multiple cells, right? Suppose say that you want to know like by this ID variable, whatever is the first observation, you want to filter for that observation. So see, this is the same ID value, but you have 4 observations. You want only the first observation. So you can filter. Similarly here also, same ID. If you want to filter for first observation, here there is only one ID value, so it will, this is the first observation or this is the last observation. So in this ID variable, you want to filter for the first observation. Okay, you can do that by making use of first dot. See here, data temp set temp. Right here, I'll create a new variable called x equal to first dot ID. Okay. So when you are using this, you have to tell to SAS, right, how you have to perform this first option, like by what reference. So say here by ID. Okay, by ID. So by ID, you want to filter for the first observation, right? Similarly, so you are saying that among these all the observations, you want to filter for first observation, which is nothing but by ID, you want to filter for the first observation, right? So by this ID variable values, you have multiple observations of this 2. 2 is nothing but ID value. In this, you want to filter for first observation. Similarly, here also, you want to filter for first observation. Okay, so you can do that like this. Okay, x equal to first dot ID. If you want, you can print it in the output window. Print data equal to 10 and run. See by ID. And one more thing, whenever you are using the by statement, you have to sort the data. Okay. Here, since already the data is sorted by ID, I am not sorting the data. But in case if you make use of the by statement anywhere, make sure you are sorting the data. Okay. Look at the output. See, in ID, by ID variable, this is the first observation, right? So it is assigning value 1. So here also same. This is the first observation by ID 2. For third, this is the first observation. Okay. For fourth, this is the first observation. So now you write here where x equal to 1 so that you will get all the first observations by ID. Okay.
Yes.
So like this, you can make use of first dot. Similarly, last dot also, y equal to last dot id. Okay. So by this id variable, what is the last observation? This is the last observations, right? For the last observations, it will assign the value 1. Okay. See. So like this, you can see like what is first observation and what is last observation by any key variable. Okay. Now, and also one more advantage with this first dot and last dot is you can easily identify the duplicates. Okay. By any key, like no dupe key. Remember the no dupe key? So by the action of no dupe key can also be done by using first dot and last dot. By any key variable, if you want to identify the duplicates, you can identify by using first dot and last dot. See here, if you look at this third ID value 3, for ID value 3, you have only one observation, right? So the first value, first observation and last observation, both will be same, 1 and 1. Okay. But if you look at other ID values, the first observation and last observation are not same, which means for that ID value, it has multiple observations, right? So like that, you can identify the duplicate by any variable, by any key variable. Okay. Are you clear?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So that is the advantage of first dot and last dot. Okay. This also. So they say like this is